Some buildings are so much more than just concrete and steel. They're symbols, right? They tell a story about a nation's soul. And wow, few stories are more dramatic, more full of ambition, neglect, and the hope for a comeback than that of Nigeria's MKO Abiola National Stadium. Let's get into it.
I mean, just look at it, an absolute icon of Nigerian sport. This place was built to be a shining beacon of excellence. But its journey, man, it's been a total roller coaster of incredible highs and just devastating lows. So today, we're going to explore how this national treasure pretty much faded into memory and the massive, massive effort that's now underway to bring it back from the brink.
To really get what happened here, we have to go back to the beginning, back to a time of some serious national optimism, when a new government was ready to shout Nigeria's arrival on the world stage from the rooftops. And the thing is, this project moved incredibly fast. It was commissioned in 2000 and opened just 3 years later, purpose-built to host the 2003 All-Africa Games. The vision was crystal clear: create a truly world-class venue right in the heart of the nation's new capital, Abuja. And the investment, it was monumental. 360 million US dollars. Let that sink in for a second. At the time, that price tag put it among the 50 most expensive stadiums ever built, anywhere in the world. This wasn't just a building, it was a huge, bold statement about Nigeria's future. But here's the thing that made this stadium so special. It wasn't just about its size or its cost, it was an absolute engineering marvel. And right here, you can see its most iconic feature taking shape. This incredibly complex web of cables became the skeleton for a massive, lightweight roof, and that roof would go on to define the stadium's totally unique design. Okay, so the innovation here was seriously groundbreaking. It was designed by this famous German firm, SBP, using what's called a spoke and wheel concept. But the real game changer, the thing that made it a world first, was that concrete ring beam. It was the first stadium on the planet to use a concrete beam to support a massive cable and membrane roof like this, a true engineering first. And the scale, just immense. A capacity of over 60,000 people. That made it, and it still is, the largest stadium in Nigeria. This place was built for the biggest crowds, for the most important events in the nation's sporting history. But it was more than just the stadium. The whole vision was for a complete sports village. I mean, it had everything: a velodrome, indoor arenas, swimming pools, tennis courts, you name it. A truly comprehensive hub designed to be the absolute beating heart of Nigerian sports. So you have this masterpiece, right? A symbol of national pride. It had everything going for it. So what on earth happened? Well, this is where the story takes a turn, because this incredible national monument began a slow, really painful slide into disrepair and neglect. And this number is the key to understanding why. $7 million. That was the estimated cost just for maintenance, every single year. For a government trying to balance countless priorities, that staggering figure just proved to be impossible to keep up with. And without that funding, a perfect storm started to brew. The stadium wasn't being used enough, which made it a prime target for thieves who stole everything from power cables to TVs. The pitch got so bad, people were calling it a grazing field. And, well, inevitably, FIFA and the Confederation of African Football, that's CAF, they banned it from hosting international matches. A symbol of national pride had become a national embarrassment. But the story didn't just end there. People tried to fix it. The problem was, these efforts often felt like trying to put a tiny bandage on a massive wound. It just led to this frustrating cycle of hope and then disappointment. I mean, this timeline just lays it all out, doesn't it? After that grand opening in 2003, you see these stop and start efforts. A big regrassing contract in 2013 sounds good, but then just 3 years later, there were reports of cattle grazing on the pitch. Even a $1 million renovation from Aliko Dangote in 2022 wasn't enough to stop it from being disqualified again in 2024. It was like one step forward, two steps back. And this quote from an official at the National Sports Commission, wow, it really sums it all up. The standards for international sport are always getting higher. The stadium was outdated, and those patchwork repairs, even with good intentions, just couldn't keep up. The fixes were, simply put, not good enough. Which brings us to today. After all those years of this frustrating cycle, there is a new, incredibly ambitious plan on the table. One that hopes to finally break that cycle and restore Nigeria's sporting pride for good. Just look at that figure. Over 24 billion naira. That's the amount set aside in the 2026 budget for a complete upgrade. This is not another patch-up job. This is a total overhaul on a scale that just dwarfs anything they've tried before. And this plan is about way more than just repairs. They're bringing in the best of the best. Elite European contractors, the same folks who handle pitches for teams like Real Madrid. They're overhauling the entire infrastructure. But maybe most importantly, they're creating a sports city concept, building commercial hubs so the stadium can actually make its own money and become self-sustaining. The goal is to make sure this kind of decline never, ever happens again.
So that's the big question, isn't it? It's a story we've seen before, a grand plan, a massive investment. But with this new focus on long-term sustainability, could this finally be the chapter that secures the legacy of Nigeria's sleeping giant? Well, only time will tell.